KMVT Sports, Friday Night Blitz.
I got chills just watching that intro. Come on, it's so good to be back here. Welcome into week 0 of Friday Night Blitz, your one-time stop for highlights, scores, and action from all of Southern Idaho football. My partner Brevin Monroe will join me next week. He was in Grace this time for an 8-man contest, which we'll have later in the show. Well, let's hop right into the action. I know everyone wants to see their football, as in Rupert tonight, the Minico Spartans had their season opener. They hosted the Skyview Hawks, 2 playoff teams from a season ago. Now the Spartans would receive the ball first. It's the toothless wonder, Preston Sonic Craney, on the kickoff, gets some good yards, breaks a tackle, gets a juke upfield. He'd be tackled around the 50. However, the Spartans would not be able to capitalize. Now the other way, it's the Hawks' first drive. Henry Downey rolls out right, but is caught by the ankle. Bodie Baker for this sack. We are scoreless through a quarter. Who's going to be able to strike first? Skyview ball back, has it 4th and goal. Downey rolling out, looking for options. Puts it across the middle, swatted down by Brendan Heward. It's a big-time stop for the Spartans. That would lead to a Minico field goal on the other end from Henry Friedrich, as the Spartans would go on into the half 3-0, but the Spartans would connect for a touchdown and then a 40-yard pick six by Tucker Arthur. As the Spartans make a statement to open the season, they blank Skyview 17-0. Well, up next in 5A, Canyon Ridge on the road versus Emmett, 2 playoff teams as well. Emmett puts up a score first and then marching down the field, but a little too comfortable. It's picked off by Brenner Kuntz and returned for nice distance as well. So the ball changes hands, the teams flip side as we head into the second quarter, and then a little deja vu. This time it's Emmett coming up the big play on defense. Casey Coburn comes down with the INT, and he's going to take it all the way. Does he have enough? But eventually would be caught by Canyon Ridge before he broke into the end zone. So the defense reigned supreme to start this one. Eventually Emmett would break through a few possessions later. Quarterback Ryder Shee finds Sammy Howe. The senior breaks the tackle, tiptoes on the sideline, and makes a diving effort. They mark him just short of the touchdown. So from 1 yard out, the Huskies this time would make quick work. They put points right on the board, and this time it's Howe on the ground. He bounces to the right to finish the job as Emmett takes a 14-0 lead, and Canyon Ridge would go on to lose this one 34-6. The Huskies with a 363-95 edge in offensive yards. Well, some other 5A football up in Sandpoint. This game just wrapped. It's Twin Falls and the Sandpoint Bulldogs. This game didn't kick off until 7 Pacific time. So in the fourth quarter, Twin Falls was trailing, but they just couldn't pull it out in the end for their season opener. Now coming up, 4A football as the Wood River Wolverines. They were in action for week 0. We'll catch up with them after the break. Welcome back into Friday Night Blitz. I know you don't want to see me. You want to see the football, so let's hop right back into the action as Wood River hosted Caldwell. It's my favorite stadium in all of Southern Idaho. Wood River is beautiful. Now, they start off on fire on their first drive. It's quarterback Wilder Graff drops back to pass, airs it out deep for his tight end, Solly Carter, for a big gain. He's got a lot of offers right now. Very next play, Graff. He's going to be having it, hands it off to the senior, Cash Hunter, bounces outside, and he would rumble his way for the touchdown. Wood River goes up 7-0 after the extra point. Now at the end of the first half, with a chance to score again, but there's a collision with receiver Owen Gitterich and a Caldwell defender. The fans and coaches wanted a PI, but wouldn't get it. So Wood River would have to settle for a field goal, or so they thought. Caldwell blocks it, scooped up. Can the Wolverines make some magic? But instead, just ends like that. First half ends 7-0. Now midway into the third, Wood River would bounce back as Graff dumps it off to Felipe Cruz, who fights his way into the end zone to put the Wolverines up 14-0. And Wood River would go on to win 28-0. They blank Caldwell with an Eli Edwards rushing score and 25-yard pick six from Tyman Shell. They'll host McCall Donnelly next Friday. Well, how about some 8-man action, a rematch from last year's semifinals between Oakley and Grace. The Grizzlies out for revenge would strike first on this touchdown pass from Chase Smith to Derek Hill. 2-point no good, 6-0 Grace. Now Oakley trying to get it right back. It's going to be dropped back deep. A perfect ball to Timmy Short, who takes it 75 yards to the house. Their 2-point was good. The Hornets take an 8-6 lead. But Grace used another big play to get to the 1, and from there it's Smith, the QB. He takes it in himself. The 2-point is no good, and Grace leads 12-8. Now, this play right here changed the game. Oakley down 20-8 at this point, but Rice drops back, finds the big man, Dallin Hardy, who has some blockers in the open space, gets hit and fumbles the ball away. Grace would go down on the field right before the half as Gavin Draper finds Braden Kimball for the score. The Grizzlies would lead 26-8, and it wasn't Oakley's night. They fall 50-8 to open up the season. Well, 3A action, the Declan Hornets opened their season 26-14 on the road. They made a state title game last year and are eager to get back to claim the title. And coming up tomorrow, how about this? I'll be on site in Fruitland, Idaho, as the Grizzlies will host the Kimberly Bulldogs, 2 playoff teams from a season ago. They met in week 3 last year, where Kimberly came away with a 20-3 win. The Bulldogs are excited for a gauntlet of an opening schedule. That's what head coach Joe Dilley at least told me. They'll play Fruitland tomorrow. Next week, they'll play California's Sutter Union, another great matchup in the Rocky Mountain Rumble. Well, folks, football is back. Thank you so much for tuning in to week 0 of Friday Night Blitz. We're going to have all the action next week as well, so make sure to tune in right next week at 10.